It's like, what were you doing with my drapes? The drapes that were hanging in the apartment. I never got the answer to that. Hi, this is Kari from Sky Properties, and we're going to talk about your building's year in review. First, you want to check to look at your current markets to see if there's any room for improvement and plan out your increases for the upcoming year. This could be dependent on California rent control or LA City rent control or whatever city you live in. You have to make sure you follow those laws, but you want to make sure that if your rents are under market that you raise them. I do not recommend that you raise rents if your units are over market priced already, unless you really have a bad tenant or someone you can't live with. Secondly, this is a time to look at your expenses in review and a good time to do a budget for the upcoming year. You want to look at your general ledger and your vendor ledgers to make sure that you think you're getting good prices and that they look reasonable to you. If you start questioning the prices on your vendor ledgers or general ledger, it's a good time to get bids for the upcoming year. And also you want to check your general ledger to make sure that your account codes are right so that when you turn in your taxes that everything is categorized. And you want to look for areas where you might need improvement, or if you see really low expenses on plumbing, you might think, well, maybe I need to inspect my plumbing closer. Or if you see really high costs, you want to analyze that and see, well, why were they high? What can I do to save money in the upcoming year in that account? You want to reevaluate the areas where you want to do improvements, and you want to budget that. If you have a roof that's 10 years old, you might think, okay, my roof might need to be changed out in 10 years. Let's say it's a 20-year life. Then you want to budget for that, and you want to divide that by 10 and then by 12, and you want to set that amount of money aside monthly so that in 10 years you have the money to replace your roof. That could also apply to things that are less money than a roof or repiping, for example. You could be budgeting that, okay, I've had a couple water heaters go out. I'm going to plan to change one every other month so that I stay within my cash flow budget, but I proactively keep units from flooding after a heater breaks. Last but not least, I recommend that you prepare for a disaster. Some might say COVID was a disaster, and it was, but there's also earthquakes here in Los Angeles. So you want to prepare for that. I recommend that you at least have, at a minimum, a roll of Tyvek and a staple gun on the property. We like to also store wood boards to board up windows, because the biggest issue after an earthquake is usually breaking glass. And trying to get a vendor out after an earthquake, don't even count on that.